I said during 6 weeks when it gets back from the processing place, we'll have a look at it and then we'll do it all again, but I haven't seen it since.
No.
Unbelievable.
At least it's in the memory, mate.
Oh, hello!
Hello!
And welcome! Welcome to another episode and another season of Mighty Car Mods, proudly supported by Just Car Insurance.
We must say that Gramps is far from over.
You know what? Gramps is like a They never go away, and they're reasonably uncomfortable.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Really?
Well, no. Well, in your case, I would say that.
Yes.
But as a simile or metaphor for Gramps,
Yes.
I would say that's not quite true.
Okay.
I would say that Gramps is like a mystical beast.
Does Gramps smell strange and have liquid slowly seeping out of it?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, he is like my
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, so Gramps, last time you saw it, it was doing quarter miles, it was making good times, everyone was happy. But there's lots of other things that we needed to get to in our lives.
Gramps looked like rubbish. Gramps looked like a sardine tin that I saw back in World War II that one of the boys had crapped in.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. See, that's what all Subarus look like, mate. A can with a bit of metal on the front and a turd up the back.
That is fascinating.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You
What
are
do
the
we-
master of the metaphor.
Thank you, Mark. Now, what are we doing, Mark? Thank you.
Oh.
What are we doing, Mark?
Well, we are going to fix this problem we got with Gramps. Gramps looking a bit rough.
Just a little.
A little bit rough.
Speaking of looking rough, how is Cheryl? Is she back on the scene?
Oh, mate. I'll tell you at bingo.
Okay, as you were.
Gramps
Sorry,
is
my
looking
friend.
a little bit rough, but you know what? It's time to fix that. We've been thinking about doing this for a very, very long time.
That's right.
Yep.
So we're going to do a little bit of spraying,
Yep.
a little bit of rubbing,
Bit of rubbing. Used a bit of alcohol to put on it to kind of make it all, do what we want.
and a nice smooth surface mode.
Exactly right.
So you can just slip in there nice
That's exactly
and
right. Yep. So at the end of this process, we'll have a beautiful, lovely looking sardine tin full of crap.
All right, here it is.
So Gramps, it dominated at the drag strip. It's fast. It looks awesome.
It does not look awesome, okay? So let's just be completely honest. Everyone knows Gramps looks like rubbish, but that was kind of the idea, to have an old man who's falling apart with dandruff and he's bald, but he can run really fast. It's the Usain Bolt of the elderly car world.
Usain Bolt in a nursing home. Yeah, so it's a few little things have changed since we last saw it. It's got a new bonnet on it because the bonnet was all bent and screwed. It's got new roof racks because they weren't any good either. We've got a few extra panels and bits that Benny Mechanical Stickers got for us.
And most importantly though, it's time to paint Gramps and give him a fake tan, but it'll be a real tan. We're going to be painting Gramps, and finally Gramps is going to look as good as he sounds as he goes.
Sounds, goes, all of it. It's just going to be a complete package finally.
You love a complete package, don't you?
I do
How
love
is your
a
MX-5
complete
going? Have you
package.
still got your MX-5? Martin, tell me about your Gramps. Are you excited? All
I'm so
panels will
excited.
be the same colour.
Do you know I've never had a car that actually looks like really good with proper
This is
paint
true,
and
you've
everything.
never had a car that looks good. What? It's true! Anyway, we got a lot to do, so let's get to it.
That's right, this 1997 Subaru Liberty is showing its age. It spent most of its life outdoors, had many run-ins with shopping trolleys, and it's probably been washed less than your average tractor. But we're about to change all that with a fresh coat of paint, but first, we gotta strip the car.
So all this stuff is going to go into a box. If you've never pulled a Subaru apart before, I'd recommend writing on little bags and saying this is for a headliner. I've done this enough times on these cars to know where this stuff goes. So it's going in one big box. And then we have a giant jigsaw puzzle in about a week's time where all this has to go back together, including the mad JDM interior that we got.
Have you noticed, Marty, that whenever we put things back together, there's some automatic weight reduction? Because you're left with like a handful of stuff that...
What do you mean? That never happens.
No, that's never happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
right.
sorry.
Yeah.
Now we are going to be changing the colour, which means the entire car has to be stripped. Most of the interior is already gone, but panels, glass, plastic, trims, everything has to go. On older cars, this process can be tricky.
Hey Marty, you know how you said you weren't that attached to these tweeters?
Yeah.
They weren't that attached to you.
Oh wow,
They weren't even connected.
to anything.
No.
That explains it.
Any panels or parts that we've already got replacements for will be scrapped, so less care is required when removing them.
Dirty Gramps, he's incontinent.
No, it's purely just grot. It's just grot holding that on.
Literally, there's nothing holding that quarter panel on except the dirt. Oh wow. Weight reduction, we could have got a better quarter mile time without all that in there.
Yeah. Oh, so much grot. Oh wow, look at that.
There's dirt holding Gramps together. Not really, but
That's so thorough. Alright, well, it's partially stripped, so we can get rid of these old crappy guards and put in our mad JDM ones. And start pulling more stuff apart. But gonna have to come back again tomorrow. Real work and real life calls. So any spare time we have, we're gonna come down and do some work on the Gramps. And I reckon in about a week and a half, that is gonna be looking awesome.
yeah. I mean, it would be awesome, Martin, to just like dedicate a full couple of days to it.
Yeah.
But being that that's not possible, then yeah, we'll just come down whenever we got some spare time and do some more.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be rad.
It's gonna be mad. Yep.
Respraying a car is a hugely time-consuming process where a quality job takes careful attention to detail. You also need paint to paint a car, so next we're headed to Motor Active to mix up an awesome custom colour.
It's amazing just how, like, even in the blues here, you've got, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what is that, 50 different options, and they all look blue, but they're all so different.
And that's right, and that's
right from like
and
a
that's
field
not
to
even
purple.
all the combinations. Like
because obviously you can add fleck or flake
yeah.
or all sorts of different stuff then on top of this.
Yeah, that's right.
So really, then with this system, it's like it's limitless.
Limitless.
Like you
yeah.
can, like it's not just 50 shades of grey. It's
Correct.
50 million and
Correct.
infinity shades of grey.
And that's it. Not only can you go with one effect, you can add multiple effects. So if you wanted a chameleon,
Like what, for example?
well, if you wanted a chameleon effect where it
Yeah.
changes colour, but then you wanted to bling it out as well, put a bit of chunky flake, you can add a Metajoules and a chameleon together.
Oh,
And then put it in. So like the boundaries are.
that's really cool.
So the colour we've chosen is a combination between the Galaxy Grey.
Yep.
Because you wanted a darker, more charcoal sort of colour, we've
Yep.
gone with an effect of the 22. So you've got a darker effect there.
Oh, okay, so you're adding that. So your base color is the Galaxy Grey, which you've got a lot of, and then
Correct.
this is an effect you mix in.
That's right.
Okay.
And then because you wanted a darker colour, we've added a little bit of black to it.
Okay, cool. Which will bring it down without making it a complete
Correct.
color change. Is there any issues with it because the car is currently silver?
Yep.
And white or whatever? So does that make a difference to what we do as far as like coverage and all those kind of things?
As long as the car's one colour, so
Yep.
if you do any repairs, stuff like that, that will change the colour.
Yeah.
But as long as it's all flat one colour, there'll be no issues.
All right. Cool.
Can we call this colour octopus juice officially?
I'm going to officially call it Octopus Juice color.
Can we? Can we do, like, is there an official listing somewhere? Can we call
There
it
is
octopus
not. You
juice?
can call it whatever you want. Everything runs on a code now, so names are up to you guys.
Cool. So someone
Eight.
else.
Has to have an 8 in it for Octo.
Yeah. But if somebody else wants this color, could they order it? We want them to call and say we want octopus juice and be able to get it. Is
That's
that
right.
possible?
Yeah. So we keep a record, or you guys keep
There
a
you go.
record, and if they ring us up and say, "I want the Mighty Car Mods octopus juice," we can
Yeah.
mix it up
It's
for
squid though, isn't it? It's not octopus.
juice.
It's squid.
Oh, whatever.
I'm going to think of a name and I'll let you all know what it is.
Good. We're going to mix some paint.
it. We are.
Correct. Let's do it. So this is a little sample pot of the color. And you can really see, like, as you mix it up, you can kind of see all the different elements to it. So you've got what is basically like a grey base. And then there is some fleck in it, but it's a very fine metallic. If those really crazy show car finishes you see, that's when the flakes, the actual metal flakes in the paint are really big. We don't want to go too crazy because this is not some kind of, classic old show car. This is a daily, but we still want it to look awesome and shiny. So that fine metallic should make it really, really pop. And the black in there will give it a nice kind of inky finish. And so when it goes from dark to light, it'll go from this really kind of like oily black to, and then sparkle in the sunlight. Wow. Look amazing.
It's really nice, Marty.
Yeah, I love it. I love
Classy.
the color.
Look at that.
Can't wait. I cannot wait to see that. Like,
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see you in a car that looks good.
Shut up.
I've never seen it, so it's going to be awesome.
I know. They're always nuggets. This will be my first nice looking car like ever. Except for the Micro, that was nice.
The flake and pearl additives are added along with the Galaxy Grey base and extra black. We're keeping a recipe of how much of each we use so the colour can be replicated down the track.
MCM squid juice. It's official.
Love it. Gramps is going to be covered in MCM squid juice. One of a kind, never before seen in the world.
Thank you, mate.
Welcome, thank you.
Thank you, mate.
No worries, mate.
Always legendary.
The next day we were back and the stripping continued.
It's all the mad factory unspoilt colour because it's been covered for so long. Wow, this would look so good new. Winning. Off. Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate.
Once the car has been stripped down to a rolling, drivable shell, the first step is to begin rubbing back the existing paint. This takes the top few layers off and exposes any damage or dents. The key to a great looking paint job is perfectly flat panels. This is achieved by knocking back any high points and filling low points. Getting good at this takes practice and a keen eye for detail. On panels that can't be replaced easily, we're using filler to skim any low points to help get a straight finish. While high-end restoration projects would probably avoid this stuff, for us it's quick to work with and gives a great result. A caramel wheel on a drill helps get rid of any old adhesive that's stuck to the car. Next we're welding up some holes that we no longer need. We then go through and fill any other low spots we can find on surrounding panels, and weld up and grind back the old roof rack holes in the roof. Any stickers that are stuck directly to the paint have to go, and finally the windscreen rubbers need to be pulled out as the windscreen will be replaced as well. After a quick clean and dust off, the car is brought back in for more sanding. The bumpers, wing, handles and any other part that can be removed will be painted separately, so must be prepped along with the body. This means sanding the old paint back until it's flat and even and then applying primer. One reason we chose not to pull the engine and do the engine bay is so that we could move the car easily and quickly around the workshop. If you're doing a full restoration, pulling the engine and then putting the car on a rotisserie is another option. With all that done, the car can then be cleaned up and moved into the booth to get its first few coats of high build primer.
So the next step is we're going to wipe him all down and then we're going to shoot some primer onto it, and that's high fill, which means you're going to rub it down and get the shape of the car just right, block it back. The more coats of that we do, the better, because then we get a better finish, which means no waves in the doors, no dents, stuff like that. All the little tiny imperfections that you might not see with a normal paint job, but being how good this one's going to be, we're going to make sure it's perfect.
The primer goes on in 4 thick coats and is left to dry out for a day or two before we begin rubbing it all back. This is known as blocking. It helps get the panels as flat and even as possible so that the top coats look smooth and shiny. Black paint is lightly dusted on, and this is known as a guide coat. By sanding all this away, you know exactly which part of the panel you've already sanded.
There's a whole lot of primer on this thing now. It's had more layers than I care to imagine. After we blocked it back, it's gone in for more primer. So we're about to spray some guide coat on it so we can then sand through that. And that should give us the glassy finish that we're looking for. So we've got to block it a bit more with 180. Then we use even finer sandpaper to get the scratches out. And then we start spraying base coat, which is what I'm the most excited about.
We sand back yet another 4 layers of primer before leaving the car to dry off completely. The next step is base coat, which is when the hard work gets easier and we're able to see just how awesome Gramps will look when he's all painted. In a freak rainstorm that came and went in minutes, Gramps is drowned. It's enough water to trigger CCTV motion sensors for the entire painful time. Gramps has no windows, no panels, and no windscreen. It's enough water to soak you to the bone in seconds, and before too long, Gramps' seats are soaked through, his wiring underwater, and all the electronics that make him work are fried. Gramps is dead.
No. I'll turn it off. I'll turn the camera off, mate. Look, I'll turn it. It's okay. How do you close this thing?